Welcome back, everybody. On Mondays, ordinarily, I like to record a Mail Call Monday video, and I've actually got a whole bunch of mail here to record, and I started to open up some of it, and I realized this time in this video is probably better dedicated to Skeeter and answering some of the questions people have been asking about Skeeter, and well, what's going to come next in our lives here, now that it's just Boomer and I. Well, to address the first question, people have asked, where can I send some cards or some sympathy letters to or something? And the address is the same address that you'll find up on my website, duckshit.net. The address, real simply put, is 4 Skeeter, 6901A, North 9th Avenue, number 163, Pensacola, Florida, 32504. Just make sure it says 4 Skeeter at the top of it so I know what it is so it gets separated from the rest of my mail. I really appreciate you guys. Just thank you so much. Really, I appreciate it. Well, I tried to organize all of my thoughts, and I actually took the time to write them down so I could address everything. I mean, there's just so much, and Skeeter deserves that respect, so I wanted to make sure that I put this together appropriately. It goes without saying that Skeeter has missed something terrible. I mean, it eats me up inside, and it's not getting any easier. It's been 3-4 days now, and it hasn't gotten easier. And I know it's not going to get easier. I'm still messed up from the time that I lost her sister 10 years ago. That truly devastated me, and I still, once in a while, will well up and break down from that. And that's not the kind of person that you guys know me as. It isn't. And I can't keep putting up videos like this, because this is just, it's terrible, it's miserable, and it doesn't make anybody happy. So, I knew that everybody loved Skeeter. I knew that. But what I didn't realize is how many everyones there were out there that she touched in her years. There were so many people that she met over the years, and everybody that met her loved her. There really wasn't anything that anybody could ever say bad about her. She was just the sweetest personality, just the nicest person. Notice I called her a person. She might have had feathers, but she was a person. She was something special. She was, and she still means the world to me. Even though she's not here, I have to preserve that legacy, because she's not here but still here, if you know what I mean. Since Skeeter's passing, I actually received thousands of emails, instant messages, text messages, phone calls, letters even. People just keep communicating with me, and it hasn't stopped. It just has not stopped since her passing on Thursday night. It was so amazing, the response that I had gotten. Just by 11 a.m. the next day, my phone battery was at 15%, alerting me that the battery was about to go, because just the phone had been lit up almost constantly. I had to mute it. It was entirely too much, and I still haven't caught up with everybody that sent me some type of message or something. I'm sorry, you guys. I will catch up with you. I'm just extremely backed up right now. There's just so many people that have reached out to me, and it's just amazing that Skeeter and I have so many friends, so many people that are there to support us. And even though she's still not here, I'm still getting that support anyway. And I'm so incredibly thankful. Just so incredibly thankful. The last few days, I've been looking back at my devices, my phone, my tablet, my computer, looking at all the videos and photos, memories from the last almost 18 years. And I noticed that her wings started drooping last summer, and her tail started drooping around October last year, causing her to poop on herself. This was in addition to her having been born with a malformed, crooked head and a bad eye, and her eyesight, even in her good eye, was failing. Her lower bill was shrinking, but it gave her that very unique and uncharacteristic tongue hanging out that she had. She was beautiful. She really was. She had arthritis in both legs and was a year overdue for a molt. Those feathers she had, they were a mess, and she really, really needed to molt, but she just did not. Despite that, she was still beautiful, but it was her time. But even though all those things, she never stopped loving. Ever. She just always wanted to be a part of what I was doing. Always wanted to be part of where I was going. And especially of what I was eating. That girl always had to stick her bill in my food. Didn't matter if it was a rum and coke or if it was a hamburger and french fries. And looking back, I think probably anything with a tomato sauce was her favorite. She loved spaghetti, lasagna, and pizza the most. Definitely the most. But she'll eat a burger and french fries or sushi, or I mean, really anything I put in front of her, she would eat. Although in her later years, she got more selective and more picky. But nonetheless, she was still the same loving creature that I always knew. Skeeter and her sister Jumper are currently in a deep freeze. I've actually had Jumper in the freezer for the last 10 years. And that may sound a little morbid to you, but I expected to have lost Skeeter a long time ago. Skeeter was on her third life. At almost 18 years old, I'm considering 7 years of life. And the first 7 years of her life, she spent outside with her sister Jumper, Olaf and Gimpy, the two white Pekin ducks that I used to have. And I love them all so much. But unfortunately, white Pekin ducks have a tendency to go early. And they went young. I think they were about 5 or 6 years old. And they had leg problems, and that's just what goes with the breed. That's usually what happens to them. That's what happened to both of mine. But Jumper pushed on a couple more years until somebody did something. And I'm not going to get into the exact details of that because that hurts me possibly more than Skeeter because of what happened. But once Skeeter was the only one left, I couldn't just leave her out in the yard anymore. I had to bring her inside. And she came inside. And she was treated differently. Just treated so differently now that she was inside. Skeeter? I immediately put her in a box with a blanket.
You ready for bed, William? Are you?
We lived together. We just lived together. I started sharing things with her, and immediately she warmed up to me. Immediately. She was always friendly. I could put her in my lap. I could pet her from the time that she was a duckling all the way up until the day we lost her. She was just always a sweetheart. She just loved people so much. But I always planned on putting Jumper and Skeeter together from the time that Jumper passed, because the two of them were best mates. They were inseparable themselves. And unfortunately, Jumper was forced away from Skeeter, and Skeeter ended up alone. But my intent was, and the reason why I had her in the freezer, is I was going to have them cremated together and keep them together forever. I wanted them to have that. They deserved it. And I love the both of them so much that I wouldn't want to have it any other way. But what surprised me is that for the last 10 years, that Jumper has been waiting for Skeeter to join her. Skeeter just kept right on living. She just kept on going. She just persevered. She pushed through. And a lot of people said it's because of the way I took care of her, because of how much love I gave her, and just how I shared food with her, good food. And she always had a warm bed, and she always had a dry house, and she got her baths, and she got to go places, and she got to see people, and that I'm the one that kept her around. But I don't think it was just me. I think she was just truly it was a very special little creature, and I cannot express in words the love that I felt for her. She really was something special. And we got Boomer running away from me right now. He was actually hanging out with me, but he wants to go someplace else. Fine, Boomer. But now Skeeter is free. But if given the choice, I don't think Skeeter would have left me either. I think she would have stayed if she could have. And because of that, and how happy I think she was to be at home with her daddy, I don't feel right spreading her ashes anywhere. I don't think there's any place she'd rather be than home. So Jumper and Skeeter are going to be kept forever with me here at home. I'm not being selfish. I'm thinking of them. And I know Jumper would want to be with Skeeter. Skeeter would want to be a Jumper, but Skeeter would want to be with Daddy. So I think they'll have to stay home. Some people have asked for a feather or some kind of trinket to remember Skeeter, but I'm sorry. Whatever Skeeter has attached to her, she's leaving the world with whatever she's got. I don't feel right cutting feathers or plucking feathers or any of that. I have a couple feathers of my own that I am keeping that she molted from a couple years ago. In fact, I have the very first feather that she molted still inside of my 350Z stuck in the headliner. I have the feathers from all 4 of my first babies the same way, and that's where they're going to stay. And whatever she's got, as I said, she's going to keep. I don't feel right taking something off of her. Those are hers, and they're going to stay that way. Thank you, everybody that asked. I mean, I feel honored that you love her so much that you needed to have a piece of her, but I don't feel right doing that. I don't feel right separating anything from her. But Skeeter, Skeeter is on her third lifetime. Her first lifetime was with her sister living in the backyard. Her second lifetime was with me, living inside. And her third lifetime, which began when I brought Boomer home 4 years ago. And around that time, is now that she's had company, I let the two of them live together. And I'm not going to say that they got close. That's inaccurate. But they did have an appreciation for each other's company. If I separated them, they would shout back and forth across the house to each other. They would know when they were separated, and they would feel that separation anxiety when they were separated. If they weren't within sight of each other, they would both kind of go nuts. So how Boomer is feeling, or how he's behaving, is a question very, very commonly asked right now. And to be honest, I think he's okay. The first day that we lost Skeeter, I don't think he even noticed. He didn't notice. There wasn't enough going on. It was kind of late in the day. I don't think he even noticed. That next day, however, he was very noisy. He was making a lot of noise. He was doing that calling that he would do across the house to try to get Skeeter to answer. But there was no answers at all. And by the second day, Saturday, he was just quiet, really quiet. I've been trying to give him attention, and I was petting him, and he's eating his food. He's okay. But he's not making a whole lot of loud quacking sounds as he used to, when he was separated from Skeeter, or even in the morning when he was hungry. He didn't do a whole lot of that. He was very quiet. So it was right then that I decided to pick him up, and I gave him a hug. And I pulled him into my chest, and he wrapped his head over my arm the way all of the ducks that I've ever had before would hug. And he never let me do that before. He would always try to bite my ear, or bite my lip, or claw at me, or flap his wings and try to get away. He's just, well, he was just a big jerk. But something changed on Saturday. I don't know, something in his behavior just changed. And he actually gave something to me that I needed, that I had not been without in almost 18 years. And I realized on Saturday morning that Friday morning was the first time in almost 18 years that I hadn't hugged a duck. And I don't know, that may seem stupid to a lot of people that are out there that are watching this, but hugging my babies first thing in the morning was a very special thing to me. And when I hugged him and I smelled his feathers, this is crazy, but I remembered Skeeter's smell, and I missed that more than anything. To pull her in and just to inhale those feathers, there was something so special about her and so unique about the way she smelled. She was just,
That's my nose. That's my nose.
yeah, just that warm, feathery little body, squeaking, just love to be held. And I think I missed that most of all. I missed that most of all. I've been asked, do I have any regrets? I have 2 regrets, and only 2 regrets. The first one is that I didn't bring her inside sooner. If I would have brought her inside after Olaf and Gimpy passed, and she and Jumper moved back inside, I might even still have Jumper now, because whatever happened to her probably wouldn't have happened, and the two of them would still be alive together. I don't know that they would have lived any longer. They might still be both with me now, because they'd have more reason to live with each other. But that's my first regret, not bringing them both inside sooner, and having more time with them living in the house, and taking them more places and everything else. The second thing that I'm regretful for is not getting a male around to give Skeeter eggs and have ducklings. I think I would feel a whole lot better today if I had one of Skeeter's children, by my side that was anything like Skeeter, anything at all like Skeeter's personality, even 10% like Skeeter, would just be something truly special. And knowing that Skeeter is still living on in a duckling, that just something I wanted so bad, but it never worked out that way. It just never worked out. She ended up going menopausal sometime around her 12th year and stopped laying eggs, and that was good for her health, really. So, I didn't try to press the issue or do anything weird beyond that, and just, she was getting old then, and it was just better to let her relax and live out her life, and live it she did. There are a few things that I am not sorry for. I am not sorry that I got to spend 18 years with her. That 18 years, everything was a gift. All of it was a gift. Anything that was beyond her life expectancy of maybe 7, lucky if it was 10 years, was truly it was a gift from the heavens. It was something that you can't buy. There aren't words to describe it. There's just no words to describe what I've gotten from her. I love that one so much. And I am not regretful that I had 18 years of being tied to something and taking care of her and giving her everything that it was that she needed. It was a lot of work. But it was worth every bit of it. I am not sorry for giving her a domestic life. She was a domesticated duck. She is not meant to live outside in a pond or live in the woods or something else that a lot of crazy people have said over the years. I've been told you should let that duck go. Well, no, Skeeter was a domestic duck. Skeeter was flightless. And Skeeter was born disadvantaged. Her head was crooked and she couldn't really see well out of one of her eyes anyway, even way back when. So today, it just wouldn't have been right to do something like let her go. That's not ever, that would not have ever happened. And I'm not regretful for that. Not giving her back to a duck farm or giving her back to the guy that I got her from, which was actually part of the original plan. The plan wasn't to keep her. The plan was to raise her and give her back to his farm. And, well, we fell in love, my ex-girlfriend and I, with both Jumper and Skeeter, and they stayed. I am not sorry for letting Skeeter eat whatever she wanted to. That girl would get into everything that I had. She was picky. There's some things she wouldn't touch, but she ate everything that I did. Even if it was only limited amounts. I really didn't let her pig out too often unless it was for a special video. But she would eat a little bit of this and that, and I would make sure that I made special lunches for her when she had trouble eating her duck food because she couldn't pick it up because her lower bill had shrunken. So I was trying to give her things that were in bigger chunks. So I was making her lots of baked potatoes and cooking strips of chicken and things that she could eat, just to try to keep her weight up. I was doing anything that I could to make sure that she had eaten. And I am not regretful for any of that, and that's probably one of the reasons why she lived as long as she did. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care what any of the doctors said about how wrong it was. The reason why she's still around after all these years was because I took care of her as I did. And had I have not, she wouldn't have been what she was. I'm not sorry for taking her places. There's been a lot of places that we've been and a lot of people that have frowned upon it. But every place that she's ever been with me, that's too bad. She was an extension of me. And if you have any interest in me as a person or as a friend, and Skeeter was with me, you would accept Skeeter too. Skeeter was not a problem. Skeeter didn't even poop on the floor. Skeeter wouldn't even make a whole lot of noise. She'd just be kind of chill. She just wanted to share whatever you were sharing. And I'm not sorry at all for bringing her any of the places that I did. Even the people that weren't happy with that, that's too bad. I'm not sorry for that. Not one bit. I'm also not sorry for choosing Skeeter over anybody else for any other reason. Whether it be my friends, whether it be a girlfriend I was seeing, whether it be a party I had to attend or work-related instances, Skeeter came first. And I'm not sorry for that. Not at all. There's been a lot of breakups that have occurred because of women that have challenged me against Skeeter, that didn't want her someplace or didn't want to be part of her life. Well, I'm sorry. If you can't accept Skeeter, then I can't accept you. You're gone. And as a result, I am not sorry for putting Skeeter first. Skeeter, for 18 years she's been there, and none of these other women have been there that long. None. Not one. Zero. Skeeter was the longest relationship in my life. And I'm not sorry for that. Not one bit. I'm also not sorry for cleaning up after a duck for 18 years. Once again, as I said, I have no regret there. The messes that she made, as bad as they were, I would take back all the messes just to have her back. I would. I really, really would. Well, people have been asking me, what does the future bring now that I'm without Skeeter? What am I going to do next? Well, right now in the short term, I'm trying to keep busy. I'm somebody that goes a little nuts when I have too much time to think about bad things that have happened. So as a result, I try to work on things. I try to build projects. And as you probably know by watching my channel and seeing the things that I get into, I jump into projects with both feet. I put a lot of time into things. And sometimes that's to stop me from becoming depressed. I am a little depressive. I'm not I've not ever been diagnosed as depressive, but I know that I am. I know that I have problems with these things, and you know, you just want to curl up in a ball and you just want to die. Well, I'm not somebody that wants to do that. I made a conscious decision with myself that I don't want to feel that way. And the only way that I know to stop me from feeling that way is to always be productive. And I don't know if that helps other people that are out there. If you're anything like I am and you just feel like crap all the time, you can't accept that as an answer. You have to push. You have to push and you have to do something that makes you happy. And what's actually been keeping me busy isn't so much what keeps me happy. It's been just work-related stuff. I've been doing a lot of that. I've been trying to get back to everybody's sympathy comments, and despite it being about Skeeter, which is just making me miserable, it's keeping me busy, which at the same time is helping me to soften the stress, I guess, soften the blow of it, because it's making me productive. I'm doing something. It's giving me the ability to have a task. I have purpose. You know, you just, for me, having that purpose, I guess is probably the best way to put it, having that purpose and being able to get something done makes me feel better. And that's what I am. No, I'm not a manic depressive, somebody that goes, you know, you run around like you're real happy and you start getting things done and then you fall back into the funk. No, I'm typically always in a funk. It's just the face that you guys see when I'm recording these videos and the face that you see when I'm doing these things isn't always how I feel. It's just how I want to feel. And that's what I'm trying to project outwards. So I hope that helps some of you out there to understand a little bit more about me and who I am. Well, I've been keeping busy in the evenings when I'm not working by probably drinking a little too much with my friends. My friends have been taking care of me. I'm surprised at just how many friends that I have that have reached out to me and extended themselves to me and have done lots for me to try to make me feel better. Just, I'm really appreciative of that. And all this drinking that I've been doing is not really to excess. I mean, maybe slightly to excess, but I'm not getting in trouble. You know, I'm not driving drunk. I'm not doing anything really dumb. But I got to say that I probably did put a little dent in my liver this week, and well, it's not something I do often, so I guess a little nick here isn't really going to cause that many problems, right? I'm sure somebody's going to say something otherwise, but I'm happy, I'm content, and I'm going to knock it off. So, in fact, I haven't had a drink yet in 24 hours, so there it is. Well, I've also been continuing to search for a shop, some type of shop property or some type of property that I can build a shop on. Because again, I have to be productive, and that looking and searching and evaluating properties is keeping me busy. It's keeping me busy, it's stopping me from dwelling, and once I have that shop, I can do more of my work in the times that, well, the weather isn't compatible with what I'm trying to do. And that's what I'd like to do right now. I also have that as an item on the list, as I'm going to continue working on my motorcycles and Volkswagens, but I can't do that right now because the weather is not compatible. It's been raining so terribly. It's been just cold and windy. It's been completely miserable outside. So that difficulty of not getting that stuff done is stressing me a little bit. It's making me, you know, fall back into the funk, but I'm trying to find alternatives to keep me busy. And my friends have been really good about taking me out places and keeping my mind off of things, and that helps a lot, and I thank you, everybody. Well, something else I discovered since the passing of Skeeter is I have a very newfound freedom. It's kind of like taking grandma to the home, and unfortunately we had to do that last December with my grandmother, who's almost 100 years old. Was getting to be a little bit of a burden for my dad in his late 70s. That he's, you know, pushing it himself, and that was too much for him. And, you know, I'm a lot younger and everything else, but Skeeter, she is, well, just like a, you know, old person in the home. She needs very special attention. She needs special care. She needs special cleaning up after. And I'm not regretful for any of that, but now that I don't have to do that anymore, I have more time. I have a lot more freedom. I don't always have to come running home to make sure that she's eating all day long, that she's, you know, she's not starving because her brother ate all of her food, or that she spilled her food dish out because she was having trouble trying to drink or eat, and it just did, yeah. I have a new freedom. And I'm going to try to appreciate that. I have somebody else now that needs to be taken care of, and it's going to need more attention. You know, but there's Boomer, of course. Boomer will, as I've discovered, he needs a lot less attention as far as food and cleaning up is concerned. He's a much neater eater than Skeeter is. Much neater eater than Skeeter. Wow. I didn't realize I had written that, but I did. He manages to keep his food in his bowl. Food and water. He doesn't throw it all over the place. Although earlier I tricked him and I dropped a salted almond into his food bowl to see what he would do with it. And he sucked the salt off of it and then threw it away. But he actually liked the salt. Too big of a surprise, right? I mean, animals like the salt. But yeah, I messed with him a little bit. But now that he's alone, even though he doesn't require as much attention to take care of, he's still going to require more attention as far as daddy time, because he has nobody else now. He doesn't have that Skeeter to be there with him, to sleep next to him. In fact, he has now moved to the top bunk of the bunk beds that I built for the ducks. At night, he sleeps next to me. And the first night, it was a lot of trouble trying to stop him from jumping into bed and sleeping with me. And that's really sweet and all, but the problem is he shits. And I don't need him shitting in my bed. So I had to keep pushing him back and I let him know, in your box. And I just tell him, in the box. And then this morning when he jumped out again, I just pointed, in the box. And he went right back in the box all by himself and then started talking to me and then curled back up and went back to sleep. And I was like, well, okay, he's learning. Though he's not completely stupid, he's just very defiant. So I think he's going to need a lot more daddy time, and I'll give him a lot more time and a lot more attention. And he snuggled with me for the first time the other night too, since he was a duckling. That was a surprise. I put him in my lap, and I'm trying to pet him. And he's squirming, and he wanted to get away from me. He doesn't like it like Skeeter did. But then he turned around, and when I pulled him into me to give me a hug, he put his beak in my armpit and started digging, like he used to do, exactly like he used to do when he was a duckling. And when I touched him, I realized his beak was cold. So he realized that my armpit was the warm spot, so he went to warm his beak up. And he sat with me for 30 minutes while we watched TV until he quacked a couple times, stood up, and then he took off. You know, that's all right, I had enough, it's time to go. That's fine, but that was a breakthrough. And I just can't believe he's given me that attention, which he hasn't in the 4 years that I've had him, since he was a duckling, of course, excluded. Ducklings are doing that out of necessity, though, because they have to stay warm or they freeze to death. Here comes Boomer down the hallway right now. Come here, Boomer! Let's see if he comes all the way down here. He does listen. As I said, he's not completely stupid. I can tell him in the morning, come on, Boomer, let's get up. He'll jump out of the box, run down the hallway. And then I'll point to his playpen and I'll say, in the box. And he'll jump in the box. And if I don't do the hand gesture, he might do it, but he might not. But if I do the hand gesture, he almost always does it. Sometimes I won't even say in the box. I'll just go with the hand like this, and he'll jump right in the box all by himself. And then I prepare his food and everything else, and he's off and running for the day. So as I said, he's not completely dumb. Well, other than throwing his feathers everywhere, he's actually not that bad to clean up after. Well, my dad said in an email, and I actually posted someplace on one of my Facebooks or my Instagram or something, the change of habits that I'm going to have now, since I don't have the same responsibilities, and that's going to be the hard thing to get over as I'm rewriting my life. I'm doing things differently. Things are not what they always used to be, and, they're not ever going to be what they used to be. And I'm fine with that. I'm okay with that, because now that things are changing, it's time to take on new habits, new good habits. And one of the things that I started to do about a week and a half ago, actually we're pushing 2 weeks today because it's Monday, I started working out more. I started doing some cardio, I started lifting some weights, and I'm down 13 pounds. And that was something before Skeeter, but since Skeeter now, I'm trying to develop a rhythm and try to do this at a regular occurrence, different times a day, during the week, and try to keep that weight off. So even though I've been out drinking with my friends and you think I would have probably gained weight from that, I've been losing some weight because I've been so physical, and I've been, more demanding of my body to get the exercise out there, and I feel better. I feel a whole lot better. You probably notice when I'm talking to you right now that I'm not running out of breath. That was something I used to do all the time because my lung capacity had diminished when I was starting to get heavy. And in the 2 weeks, it's one of the first things that I notice, even on the first day that I work out, is my lung capacity increases. And it's a whole lot easier to breathe. I'm not an asthmatic or any of that kind of stuff. It's just with more lung capacity, it's easier to breathe. I mean, that's logical, right? It makes sense. But I'm feeling a whole lot better now, and even after only 2 weeks and only 13 pounds, it's starting to show. My clothes are already starting to fall off of me, and my pants are starting to fit a little better. So I think I'm doing the right thing, and I'm going to stick with it. Well, last couple things on the list. Boomer's 4th birthday is on February 3rd, and I kind of like that. 2, 3, 4. February 3rd, 4th birthday. We're not actually doing a formal celebration or an actual party for Boomer. I mean, I love him, but it's kind of short round because that's this coming weekend. We're not really going to do anything too special for that, but we do have a Volkswagen tech session coming up, and I haven't brought him to a tech session in a long time, so I think I'm going to stick his little harness on him and take him over there, and we'll probably have pizza for lunch, and we'll see if he eats a little bit of it. Sometimes he does, but if he doesn't, well, that's fine. That's his choice. But he will be at tech session, so if you're in the local Pensacola area and you want to join us for tech session, hit up rareairvw.com. You can find our website and find a tech session location and everything you need to know about our tech session on February 1st. It's actually on the 1st, despite Boomer's birthday being on the 3rd, which is, I guess, Taco Tuesday? No, it'll be Monday. That doesn't count as Taco Tuesday. But anyway, Boomer is, he's going to be 4 years old. And the last item on the list is, I will be damned if I don't celebrate Skeeter's 18th birthday. I'm here for her, even though she's moved on. And her 18th birthday was it was special to me. I mean, 18 is coming of age for a human, and for her to have achieved that, it would have been extremely special and way out of the ordinary anyway, but she's just shy of that. But I'm still going to be celebrating anyway. March 17th is Skeeter's 18th birthday. And on March 17th, which is a Tuesday, I'm probably going to arrange some kind of party. It's going to be an open invite, come one, come all. I'm going to go to probably one of the local restaurants, and for anybody that's watching this video or anybody that sees Skeeter's page, when I finally pull my stuff together and I announce where it's going to be and how I'm going to do this, there will be a Skeeter birthday party. Of course, I'm not looking for gifts for Skeeter or any of that stuff. This is just in her honor, her celebration of her life, and how special she was to me and everybody else. So I'm going to be inviting everybody to that, and I'll do a formal announcement at a later date. But again, if you want to send in a sympathy letter or card, I'll put the address here up on the screen. Make sure you address it for Skeeter so we know what it is, so it doesn't get mixed up with my regular mail. I thank everybody for watching. And please, post a comment, subscribe. I really appreciate you guys, and I really need the help. Thanks so much. We'll see you next time.